So typically what we do is we have 3 demos lined up every month. Unfortunately, we had a last minute dropout. Although some here have already presented, I do want you guys coming back. I remember both of you. I think that what we do is give the demoers a little more time. So instead of 20 minutes, give them 30 minutes, so they get a little extra 10 minutes for questions and things like that, and maybe just in more detail go into their ideas. So we'll roll with that for now. We're kind of rolling with the punches here. So just a couple of announcements. First off, Joshua Stacy has kind of stepped up to be organizing this meetup. I'm helping obviously continue this, make sure it continues and things like that, but you're in good hands here. If you do have a demo you want to present, feel free to grab my card here at the front, reach out to me, or just go to phpvegas.com. There's a form there. If you hear about anybody who is interested in presenting, feel free to reach out to them. Our sponsors are obviously Vegas Theater Company, Tech Alley, thank you to them. And also, thank you, Ryan, for recording these sessions every month. And Remote DevForce, my software development company that specializes in freelance software development. So if you need a developer, reach out. And also, we have a co-working space sponsor called Corporate Co-working. If you're looking for a free day pass, go to corporatecoworking.com. They're right over by the Allegiant Stadium. It's a beautiful workspace. I've been there multiple times. Great spot. So without further ado, we'll have Peak present, and then we're going to have ArtCee present. So let me just get you guys mic'd up. Let's do a quick tech check here, and let's get going.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, well, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Dude, that's how you do it. That's it right there. That's kind of energy you're looking for. You don't want to, how's everybody doing? Anyway, my name is Ricky. I am one of the co-founders of an organization here in Vegas called Peak Performance Partners. We're an organization, as it says, we help businesses achieve success faster. So real quick, by show of hands, do I have, first off, any entrepreneurs, any current business owners in the room? Yes, entrepreneurs, business owners? Nice. All right, let me ask you this. In addition to those existing business owners, any other dreamers, anybody who says, listen, I'd love to be a business owner, I have a product, I have an idea, and I want to do something with it. Yes, go ahead, let me see it. Come on, who's got the idea and say, look, I would love to make something amazing happen. All right, nice. All right, who here has no idea what the hell they're doing? All right. Yeah, listen, if you thought this was one of those presentations after lunch you show up and get talked at, no. That's not how we roll. So one of the things that we do is that we really genuinely, when we came and created our company, little backstory, me and my team, me and my partners, we've been entrepreneurs for years. My first business I started when I was 15 years old. My grandpa, I'm originally from El Paso, Texas, and my grandparents were like, dude, they owned a dairy farm. My dad owned a tree nursery and a firewood business because the man could make anything grow. And I said, at 15, I want to own my own business. Famous words from a father/entrepreneur, son, as long as it doesn't cost me anything, go nuts. All right? As long as it's not illegal, unethical, or immoral, have at it. So my very first business was a paintball field. Did that for about a good number of years. Ended up selling it, moved to Vegas, sold timeshare for a little bit because I got married and had kids and was like, I just don't want to start a business all over again. And then had a great time with that. Then the entrepreneurial bug in me kind of snuck up and said, hey, let's get back into it. So me and my partners created Peak Performance Partners. So we have a thought and a theory when it comes to coaching and development. So we work and train, and we work with business owners and CEOs to help them go from startup to $1 million to $5 million, 5 to 10, 10 and 20, and on. And you have different gaps and challenges there. But we realized, hey, my limited experience was on the coaching consulting side. I only have so much experience. So we take a different approach. We call it our coaching staff. So we actually have a financial coach, a leadership coach, a sales coach. Today's training, if you were in here earlier about sales, brilliant, great stuff to get started. We've got HR coaches and financial coaches and all that. So that's what we do. We kind of take things and bring it together. We've been doing this since 2019, and in 2023 we became an award-winning company. So we've been very, very blessed to be very successful at what we do. And it's through a labor of love. So we're grateful for what we do. Here's a quick snapshot at some of our clients that we've been blessed to work with. We have worked with anywhere from startups all the way to enterprise. Anybody recognize any of the names on this board? All right, which ones stand out to you? Go ahead. Costco. Yeah, I know, right? Costco, like, what the? How'd you do that? All right, I love Costco. Dude, anybody in here called Costco? It used to be the $300 club. Now it's like the $500 club. Yeah. Dude, I can't walk out of there for less than $500. All right. Costco, Cox, Nevada State University. But here's the thing, especially if you're a dreamer, got a company, you're like, dude, I'm not Costco, I'm not Cox, I'm not CSN. We work with organizations, you can't see, it's a little blurry right here, but Beamasters. That's a mom and pop shop, and there's only 2 people. But we help them get there as well, right? Here's the thing about business that we're going to kind of look at is that for most business owners and entrepreneurs, even some of the greatest leaders out there, we all struggle with this. Anybody feel this right here? All right, the other half of the room, you're lying. Some of you are like, yeah. All right, here's the thing. When you've got only 24 hours in the day, have you ever been in your business or had this idea and thinking to yourself, there's that area of frustration, like, dude, how is it that I'm doing okay, but somebody else who's doing something very similar, they're killing it. What? And they're on vacation and they're traveling, they're making money, right? And I'm over here like, dude, if I just had 1 more hour in a day, I swear to God, I'd be able to do something with it, right? Anybody feel that? Right? Well, here's the thing. The difference between those who are killing it and those who aren't are just, they have less blind spots, all right? So when we come into the picture with different organizations, we really just say, hey, it's not a matter if you're going to hit success, because if you have a passion and you stick with it long enough, right? Typically, fortunately enough, you should have success. Sometimes we make mistakes, and some of y'all in here know exactly what I'm talking about. You think you're making the right move, but you don't have advice or guidance or information. You take that step, and it's a costly step. Anybody in here ever been there? Anybody been there but doesn't want to admit it? Right. One of the things that I've seen business owners do is that we get so excited. It's like, hey, I'm going to make that move. I'm going to make that leap. I'm going to take that jump. And unfortunately, sometimes it pays off big. You're like, dude, that was it, and we're off to the races. Other times it costs us a lot of money. So with us, we help give that direction. We just say, look, we're going to help you achieve that success just a little bit faster, right? So my question is, we're getting into today, why are blind spots so dangerous? I'm going to open this one up. Why are blind spots in your company, for my visionaries, my dreamers, or my existing business owners, why is that so dangerous?
Cost money.
Cost money. What else? Legal risk. What else? Energy. All right. Here's the thing. If you can see this, I'm going to read them out to you. Here's the thing. If you're a business owner or a startup about to say, hey, I want to take this leap, here's 6 of the most common reasons, common blind spots that put companies out of business. All right. If you look at the stats and the facts, I found it fascinating. Anybody know what the average success rate of a company that starts up 1 to 5 years? I'll put it like this. How many companies fail in the first 5 years? What percentage?
90%. Most of them.
Most of them, 90%. You want to hear something interesting? All right. I can guarantee you, I can put money on it. Of those 90% that failed, everyone had this conversation. Listen, I got an amazing idea, I have an amazing product, service, we're going to kill it. And somebody said, how are you going to succeed? I don't know. I can't fail. But what if you do? I can't fail. I won't fail. You know why? Why not? Because I can't. I'm going to make it work no matter what. And the numbers say 90% fail in the first 5 years. You know how many fail in the first 10 years? Of that 10% left over, it's about 70% succeed after that, if you're lucky, okay? Here's the blind spots I want to bring into your attention today. Managing cash flow and understanding your financials. One of the biggest reasons. If you don't understand your cash flow and your financials, big issue. Ineffective sales and marketing. If you don't have a dialed-in sales and marketing system, right, how are we going to continue to generate revenue? Little or no SOPs. Anybody in here not know what an SOP stands for? If you don't, it stands for Standard Operating Procedure. Playbooks. How do we do this and make it consistent? Lack of clear strategies and measurements. Strategies are huge for how you run your business. Inability to adapt to change. And this one's a little fuzzy, but it says lack of employee development and engagement. All right? Well, here's the thing. In business, you have 360 degrees in the direction you can make your move. All right? Do I go this way? Do I go this way? Do I make this move? What's the best one and what's the best way I should be going? So what we do is we've created today, thanks with Josh's help, our very first ever way to help business owners uncover their own blind spots, and we call it our business essentials. There's lots of directions, there's very few directions to success. Does that make sense? All right, making it easier for you. Okay, having that roadmap, that direction. So my question is this, and here's what I'm genuinely asking for feedback today. If you had a tool that gave you clear direction on the next best step, gave you that clear path, would that be helpful? Why?
Provides focus.
Focus. I love it. What else? This is my feedback. Y'all think I came to demo to you. I actually came to survey y'all. Right? Clarity. What else? Now I can see you guys. That light is in there. Certainty. Right? What else?
You know how to manage your resources.
Manage your resources. God, I like that. All right, keep it coming. Ben, you're a business owner. Talk to me.
Doing is one set of skills, and planning is a whole different one.
Uh-huh.
If you are doing but you haven't done planning, you end up wasting a lot of energy.
A lot of energy. I love it. Here's the interesting thing. Tell me if this makes sense. Most business owners, not by any fault of their own, spend a lot of time, right, Gabe? They spend a lot of time putting out fires. Very rarely do they spend the time at the root cause of what caused the fire. Does that make sense? All right. Has anybody in here ever had one of those days that you're like, dude, I was so busy. Oh my God, I killed it today. Killed it. I was so busy today. I was an amazing day. And then somebody says, so how productive were you? Don't ask me that. I was busy. What's the difference between activity and productivity?
One gets stuff done.
Yes. Activity and productivity. Give me. Either one. Yes, both of you. I'll start with my guy right here, and then you.
One gets stuff done, the other does stuff.
One gets. Oh damn. All right. Yeah. Can you add to it? All right. Here's the difference. I'll give you a quick analogy. You're sports people, not sports people. I think you can still get this. Activity, right? Like in football, is running the ball or getting the ball 99 yards down the line. Productivity is putting it in the end zone. You can run that ball all the way down. You don't get it in, it don't count for beans. You need points on the board. Activity versus productivity. So how do you be productive? Well, let's make sure we're taking the right steps in the right direction. So our Business Essentials tool is a series of questions leveraging AI to meet you where you are. This is not one of those canned answer responses where, hey, you answer some questions, then we go to a database and we pull it out. This meets you specifically where you are based on your size, your industry, the company, the direction you want to take in. It says, hey, here's where you're at, here's what you need to do, and here's your 12-week, take it easy peasy, baby step, right, one bite at a time, plan. Take this step, take another step, and you know exactly what you need to do. And if you follow this within a 12-week plan, your company, the infrastructure you will have, will outpace companies I know that have been in existence that we help, they're doing well, $15, $20 million companies that have been around for 20 or 30 years. They're finally there. You will have a better infrastructure than they have within 12 weeks. Now, I do want to be very clear. It's not for the faint of heart. Right? If you see it on my screen, it looks bigger. But in short, you're going to get some ideas of who you are, where you're at, and then you get the roadmap. You get that design. So with that said, we kind of bring it here. We want you to discover the cheat code to reaching your destination in less time and with less money. That's why we created this. We've been business owners, and we know from the beginning when we started off, when I was 15 years old, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. Yeah, I had some experience from my grandfather, I had some experience from my dad, and I was fortunate enough to have business entrepreneurs around me to get some of that wisdom. But where do you go when you don't have that? Right? How many people ask their uncle, hey, Unc, can you help me with this? Sure, here's what you should do. All right, how successful are you in business? I don't have a business. I don't know what you're talking about. I work for this company. Right? Anybody ever felt that? Or who here Googles it? Right? What is one of the biggest challenges with Googling the next step you should take in your business? What have you run into? Go ahead.
How does Google know what I'm even doing to begin with?
Well, how does Google know what you're even doing to begin with? All right, what else? Does anybody feel this one? There's so much information that you get lost in the sauce. Paralysis by analysis, right? And then everybody and their mom's trying to sell you something, right? And so you're figuring out, hey, and the question is, if based on what you're Googling, are you actually Googling what's the next step in my business? Or are you saying, hey, I heard the ideas, I should be spending time on marketing, so I'm going to Google social media marketing and how to do that. And should you really be putting your time and effort in that? Or should you be building other structures? Are there other ways based on your company and how you need to go to market and the competition that will help you get there faster? Because Google will give you the information you're asking for, but if you don't know how to ask the right question, how are you going to get the right information? This is where we've teamed up with an amazing team member with Josh and created this, that the series of questions that are designed here help guide you on that path so he takes all the guesswork out. All right? I'm going to give a big shout out to Gabriel in the back because he's also helped engineer the heck out of this. And the way these guys have helped us engineer this is not just a GPT wrapper. This is so nuanced. It's so amazing. The way it scrubs the information, brings it to you, you all will be blown away. So, with that said, how am I doing on time? Where's my
Get going.
all right. Today we want to offer you all something as our gift. All right. We're super excited about helping dreamers just like you get that information, get that insight. And so today, as part of our demo, thanks to Josh setting this up, you scan the QR code, use the code TechAlley. You're going to get this assessment, this report for free. You're going to be able to sign up for the membership for free. You're going to get it for an entire month. Here's the best part about it. As you use this, in that month, you can take as many assessments as you want because the information you put in, it'll meet you where you are. If you go and start, you get that report and you start taking moves and you do 1 week worth of work, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and before that membership is up, you want to come back and start saying, hey, here's what I've done, here's where I'm at, and here's now some of the new nuances and how my business has changed. Now give me the next steps. Give me another report. Come back, get another report while you're in that month subscription. It's absolutely free. We want you to get these insights, get the information for you and your teams. Start making moves and start generating revenue. Start building your company, because if you have that, the amount of value you can bring to the market and the people you can serve, it's incredible. And that's our heart. We want you all to be able to do amazing things for amazing people, right? When you bring a product or service to the market, it's because you love it. And there's so many people that should be experiencing that. It breaks our heart when people can't, right? Like my guy here in the back. I love that you say, hey, you have a dream, right? You want to bring something amazing. And I bet, if we were to have a talk, I bet that whatever you share would be something that could be a huge benefit to people. The problem is that most companies don't start because they don't know how to. They don't know, they've never owned a business before. All right? And for my current business owners in here, nobody ever taught you how to own a business, right? Anybody in here ever gone to like a business school? I went to business school and I changed my major because it frustrated the heck out of me that I was in business school saying, hey, at what point are you going to teach me how to own the company? They're like, oh, we don't do that here. So wait, I'm at one of the best business schools in the nation. And all you do is teach me how to run a Fortune 500 company? You never teach me how to own the Fortune 500 company? Oh, wrap that up. We created this to help business owners become business owners. So with that said, I'm going to open up for questions. And thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. All right, any questions? All right, I'll take a round of applause. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Woo! Yeah. Kick that. All right. Question. All right.
Just briefly, because there's two problems with this slide here. Problem one, the discount code is TechAlley, one word, all lowercase. And in case the blurry QR code isn't working, it's the number 3, threepeakjetfuel.com. And so if you want to try it out, we're eating the GPT fees on it, all of like the dime it is or whatever. I mean, it's a little bit, it's pretty comprehensive. But the whole way the tool is organized is if you go through and you do the course, there's 6 sections on it. Each of them is asking a set of targeted questions. It's really asking about your business. It's designed to walk you through answering some questions sort of like, what is my business model? What are my problems and all of that. So that's what it builds into. Anyway, with that.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah, great job. All right. So yeah, TechAlley, all lowercase, all one word. All right. Question, yes?
Yeah, so business, it's a pretty broad category.
Yes.
If I run an ice cream stand, is this more or less useful to me than if I am the CEO of ExxonMobil? Is this more or less useful to me than if I am the CEO of a Series A startup?
That's a great question. If it checked the box for all three, would that impress you?
I mean, that seems remarkable.
All right, take it, let me know. So to your point, the way this one is designed, because we actually have a product that's a little bit larger, designed for companies this is designed for companies between startup and about 1.5 million. All right. If you are in the larger space, not that this won't help you, like if you're the CEO of ExxonMobil, because it's so tailored and the way it meets you where you are, it's not just canned answers. If you own an ice cream shop, it's got you covered. If you're a startup, it's got you covered because it'll tell you based on the inputs you put in and the way these guys have helped engineer this. It has blown me away. I tried messing with the damn thing, tried breaking it, and it still gives me some insights. I'm like, oh shit, if I had that, why didn't I do that already, right? It's really, really impressive. Now, if you're ExxonMobil, you have a whole different series. So we've got bigger things based on your time, your teams, and other things. But there's some insights that can still probably get you. But I love the question. Thank you. Keep it coming.
I'm sorry, a follow-up question. I want to steal for you. But so, if it's from 0 to 1.5, so we decided to scale. What about like running a restaurant versus running like a venture-backed startup versus like a bootstrapped SaaS company?
Yes.
All three of those would work equivalently well.
Yes, I believe so. Hold on, Josh. Because this is, let me not put my foot in my mouth. I learned my lesson. I say yes to everything. Yeah, it does. Sure, why not? That's what I built it for.
So since this is demo time, I'm going to get into a little bit more of the technical detail of what's going on in the back end. It'll help answer this question. So we've got a lot of folks out there with GPT wrappers, and I think we could all go on just trying to say I'm going to revolutionize AI because I figured out how to use ChatGPT's API. Right, yeah. Insert laughs. No, it's kind of funny because people are doing this. It's fucking ridiculous.
Insert laugh.
So there were some layers in building this. One of the layers in building this was saying, garbage in, garbage out is one of the oldest lines in programming. And if you put a garbage prompt, so let's say we have somebody out there, a startup, your small business, whatever it is, you go to OpenAI, you give your $20 and you ask the questions. The way you're asking the questions and the way they're structured isn't necessarily going to give you the insight results that you're looking for. So as a starting point, okay, we'll just call it a GPT wrapper. I think that's doing a disservice to it. But the part that it's wrapping around is it's taking, as a starting point, an inventory of questions. I put these questions together. I bootstrapped a multi-million-dollar company from scratch. There's a lot of questions I ask a lot of startups whenever I'm doing mentoring and coaching. And I say, I got to know these things. And now that I know these things, I need to organize this in a way that we hand it over. There's actually 3 back and forths between OpenAI's API and the information we're feeding it, because we're taking the information, we're sending it over and saying, here's some context, here's what's going on, here's some questions, it gives us back some stuff, and we say, okay, now that we have all of this stuff here, we have these other questions, and can you format in a way that's very easy for us to digest and give us a nice long report? So what it does is it goes over area by area. So if you're bad at your financials, you say, I don't know how my business makes money, I don't know what my marketing is. A lot of the formulas, ice cream shop was one example. What were the other ones you used?
Ice cream shop, ExxonMobil CEO, and Series A startup CEO.
Okay, so ice cream stand and Series A are probably both going to get a lot of value out of it because a lot of the same mechanics that they're fighting with. The Series A startup is probably going really deep in the weeds on some things, and this is going to cover across 7 areas. It's probably going to cover some areas that they're terrible at because Series A startups have certain deficiencies, and there's some things that they're going to go, oh, this is ridiculous. But what it does when it's going through the inventory section of this, right, at a technical level, it's going area by area in your business. We're looking at finance, we're looking at you, we're looking at the business itself, and we're saying, okay, based off of all of this context, and included in the survey is saying, what are your pain points? What's keeping you up at night? What's bothering you? What do you wish you could raise your hand and say, hey, I'd like an expert to help with? And it takes all of that and then runs it against GPT's knowledge base and gives you a report based off of that. The Exxon CEO is probably dealing with problems so far down the road, it doesn't matter, and Ricky hasn't mentioned this because really and truly they are here. This is 100%, you get the first, so you get a month for free. We're eating API fees on it, that's cool. It's giving a very nice structured approach. One of the things that I love about Tech Alley is there's a lot of different folks that come here and they'll present on various topics. but you don't really get that one-on-one time. Like the Who's Got My Money section earlier today that Jeff did, he went over sales, and sales is important for all business, and I couldn't agree with him more that it's a great source of revenue. But how do you do that? What does that look like? Ricky hasn't mentioned this, but there's a bigger version of this that is sold for a lot more money, that's more for businesses in the 1.5 to 100 million range. Not ExxonMobil, not the ice cream shop, all of those in the middle. And so part of it is really tailoring that. There's really nowhere in the market where you can sit down with a product and really get into it. And so one of the things that I do applaud Pete for this, and of course they're clients, so I like them and I'm happy about that. But it's a product that is at a price point. I talked them down quite a bit, but it's a price point that's accessible to anybody with $1 and a dream. So did that help answer that?
No, it does. Sorry, just based on what you were saying and how I was thinking about how I'm going to approach this, the Chamber of Commerce crowd seems like the winner. If I was you, that's where I'd spend my time.
Yeah, brother.
It's like small, medium business co-pilot is super useful.
Yeah.
Find folks that are like 20 years into a business, they've got like 3/4 of it functioning pretty well, but the remaining quarter they've just never really looked at.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just like left it to the side versus like a seed saver, Series A startups and different. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and to touch on that, existing businesses
Thank you.
would get a lot out of this because usually they're not looking at it through the lens of what can I change.
Yeah.
If you're a startup, if you're a new venture, you're like, we're gonna do everything new. We're gonna use all of the latest tools. We're gonna use all the processes. I've got my Mercury Bank, I've got my Stripe account, I've got my Deal account, all of this stuff. But these mom and pop shops, they don't have that. And they're also not taking that second, third person perspective at it. And the product, actually, what the service it's offering isn't trying to sell you anything other than what it already is. Even if you pay for the version of it, it's not also now we're upselling you. It's we're getting paid to give you help that is helpful. And if it's not helpful, you're not going to want to keep using it. So that's the proposition. Does anybody have any questions about the technology before I hand this back to?
Yeah, I guess as far as let's say I wanted to make an ice cream shop or whatever, right? We go.
I love the ice cream shop. Great job.
Ice cream.
That kid's sweating here. So, I asked you guys for the method for like building a shop or whatever, right? Now you guys have that method over there, right? Is there like an NDA that you guys sign to be like, hey, if another ice cream shop comes up, give them the same steps, or is that part of the process?
Well, so since it's relying so heavily on ChatGPT, it's not going to have an NDA that no one else can ask about ice cream shops.
But
If I understand correctly.
information for, okay, so let's say I already have an ice cream shop and want to get to the next level ice cream shop, right? You already have your secret sauce of how you already got to whatever like level that you're at. But there is a little bit of like private data that is kind of like there. How much of that private data do we need to like share to like, get to like, the next level? And then do you just throw that data away, or are you using that to like train all your models and all your prompts and stuff for like the next generation, I guess?
So
Information security, right?
No, so information security and then further iterations, right?
Yes, sir.
So information security is don't put your social security or password in it. And as far as your special secret, frankly, a lot of businesses that exist, a lot of the information that's really sensitive, they couldn't put into something like this because it's a level of complexity that it wouldn't really absorb your secret sauce. You're saying, I'm having a hard time with sales. I don't get my marketing. I feel like, I can't keep track of my employees. Those types of things. As far as the iterations, the version that it doesn't exist now, but we're working on it, is taking this. So the way the system works right now is we'll give you a PDF. So here's your report, here's your roadmap, and here's roughly what it will look like if you do this. What we're tooling now is instead of rendering that as a PDF, rendering that into an accountability and personal coach. So it's like, here's the recommendations, and then you log in, and it says, hey, we told you, go get a CRM. Where's the CRM? You're like, ah, shit. And so like,
I gotta do work.
It's like looking right at you, like, no, I looked at this, I did this report, and I should do that. And an important part of that feedback also is, well, what if you went and you looked at it, you worked on it, and figured, I'm not gonna do that right now. A lot of business is about changing priorities, trying things and moving along. So incorporating the roadmap into just basically rendering it as HTML and making it interactive. So this way we're taking that and feeding it into subsequent prompts. That's sort of where that's heading, so that way it's got continuity. And a part of how we're keeping the continuity on the discussion and keeping the sanity is on the platform level, we're hosting a lot of the outputs. So this way when we go back to, and it's model agnostic. We could go use Claude, we could go use Llama, we could go use whatever. And so it's got all of your history and backstory there, and then it can use that as context for anything else that you ask in the future. Any other technical
4
questions?
minutes. So
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. Keep more questions. Yes, yes, yes.
So I know that there's a context limit history in a lot of these AI applications. Right? So did you guys, are you just many-to-many joining and there's no limit on how much context you can have?
Yeah, so the context window is basically the memory of when you're asking it the thing. So what we're doing is this isn't the way we're doing it, but just to explain it well, actually, all of these answers are sitting in a MySQL database, and we're tracking everything that's been said before, so we're not relying on the GPT for remembering what it is. We're not going back to those conversations. If for whatever reason we change models, we change whatever it is, we're not stuck with whatever it feels like remembering or whatever else there.
Right, but at some point you're going to exceed the limit of whatever model you attempt to put into it.
Or do you refeed that in every time?
I think he's asking, do you retrain your models with new data, or is it just a set model that's used for every new evaluation?
I don't think they're retraining the models.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, the question was about the memory size limits of existing models for context.
All right, so so the question is, how much memory each context has. So we can't feed it a 9,000 page document and have it pump stuff out. So I will say in just the last year, the context windows that we can use are so much bigger now. And a part of the reason why we have the parsing of the questions the way we do by section is to make sure that we can keep it under those and really control what we're feeding. So for example, if you tell me the whole life story of your ice cream shop, and then blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're gonna prune that down. We're gonna say, okay, here's the relevant stuff, and that's how we sort of manage that. But we're relying very heavily on traditional web architecture to store the data and do some pre-processing, and then also, when it comes back to us, doing some post-processing for styling and a number of other things. All right, everybody, thank you.
All right. Thank you for your time. I have one last question for everybody. Again, this is our demo. We're excited about this, but just because I'm excited doesn't mean anybody else is, right? So for feedback from me, who is excited about a product like this? Who thinks this would be great if it actually can give you some clear direction on the next steps you should take in your business? All right. And some people have no idea. They're like, oh, who cares? This is very fun. All right. Well, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your Saturday, you guys. Please make sure you scan the QR code, and if not, I'll be around afterwards. You can scan it off my computer. All right. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you very much. By the way, do you have white papers up on your website with like clients and all that, Josh? No,
Not yet. So
Okay.
they have a ton of very happy clients all over the state.
Yeah.
And so we should make some of those, Ricky.
Yeah, white papers.
That's a
White
good.
papers, Ricky.
Yes. All right. Not yet. The answer is not yet. They're coming.
Cool. Okay, so Rachel with
Go-
ArtCee coming up. Rachel works with Blackfire, which is a pretty cool campus. I have not been yet, but I've seen pictures of it. It looks beautiful. They're part of UNLV, but I believe this is your own thing, right?
This is my own thing,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so very, very cool. So, okay, without further ado, we'll go ahead and kick it off.
Okay, thanks guys. Just had to make a couple of adjustments now that we have some extra time, so thank you so much for that, Josh. It's always really hard to squeeze it all in, especially when you're really passionate about your project. So thank you so much. You guys did an awesome job, so it's really hard to follow you guys, so but thank you. So my day job is I'm a business advisor with the SBDC, Small Business Development Center. We work in cooperation with UNLV and their Blackfire Innovation Campus, as well as the Small Business Administration, the SBA. So all the programs that we do and all of our consultations are provided at no cost, funded by the SBA. But in addition to that, and I'm sure many of you actually raise your hands if you have a day job, but then you have a side project that you're trying to launch. Yeah. So that's kind of the same thing, right? So I found myself, ooh, that's sticky. I found myself several times during my day jobs kind of feeling like, something else is calling me. I've got these other passions. I've got these other ideas. What do I need to do to make them come true. Well, maybe I'll just wait because I think somebody else is going to come up with something like that. So I'm going to wait. And then time came where it was like, nope, now is the time to get it started. So this is my passion project. I created a company called ArtCee. And so what is ArtCee? We are a tech platform, tech-enabled platform, talent marketplace for the arts and entertainment and creative industry. We go beyond just your basic job boards, which is what you would normally find, which is people post a job, then you've got your job seekers applying to the job. In the arts and entertainment world, that already exists, but we wanted to go beyond that. What currently exists are platforms that are 20 years old, companies that are 50 years old, and they've been great for doing what they do. But it's kind of like how LinkedIn disrupted the industry back in 2004, 2005. And they put the hands back into the control of the professionals. They said, you are not limited to just your resume. You don't have to just apply to jobs and see if you can qualify for that. We're going to give you control over what does your profile look like? Not just your resume, but what are some of the volunteer things you do? What other organizations are you involved with? It allowed you the opportunity to connect with others in the industry and then to really expand your network. And then to be able to find opportunities, whether jobs or longer term relationships, be able to use the platform for those purposes. So over the years, I've had people in the arts and entertainment world reach out to me and say, hey, Rachel, you're a recruiter. That was my background. A recruiter, had my own staffing agency, HR consultant, executive search firm for 15, 18 years. And they're like, you know how to read resumes. You know how to put those together. You know LinkedIn inside and out. Can you help me put myself out there, expand my network, and find more opportunities? I was like, sure, but LinkedIn just doesn't work for our industry. It just doesn't. Arts and entertainment, creatives, we want something more visual, right? It's not resume driven. So I had a day job, right? So here I was a recruiter, HR consultant, and I kept thinking, I need that too, because even before all of that, my background has been in the arts. I'm a musician. I was a stage performer, writer, director, music director. I actually come from a family of performers. My mom and dad were opera singers. They had a production company. We started off really small, doing community, cultural stuff for the Filipino community, and then we ended up televising shows. But that was their passion. They also had day jobs. Mom was a doctor, dad was an accountant. But this was their passion where they said, we are going to just pursue it. We're going to do it because we love it, we believe in it. Through the spirit of collaboration, they were able to expand their network and really get some important work done. They were able to have their writings turned into full stage operas, right? Those sort of things. So it was that spirit of collaboration that I grew up with. And also the spirit of you can have more than one job, right? You can always have your day job and then work on your passion project afterwards. So fast forward all of those years, I had people in the industry. I continued to music direct, vocal coach. They're like, Rachel, help me. It's like somebody's going to come up with it. I know it. So came time where I thought, this talent marketplace functionality from an HR standpoint, recruiting standpoint, isn't rocket science. It's something that we can do, and we can create more functionality because technology today allows us to be faster, less expensive, and more efficient, and offer more functionality, right? So I thought, let me go ahead and create it. So I started working on the product, and then I thought, I can't do this unless I do it full time. So I took the big leap and the big risk, and I thought, I'm going to dedicate 6 to 9 months. I'm going to be all in and really explore this vision and market it, and boom, it's going to be, everybody's going to connect with this. So it kind of started that way. Slow go. But so I did. I quit my job and I started developing the product. And then, so it started off with me wearing all the hats. And then I brought Sunshine on board. She became my number 2 person. And she really helped to develop the brand and the vibe and the tone. And we forget sometimes that that's an important part of building our business. It's not just the product, but who are we selling to? How are we connecting with them? And then for this industry in particular, it's emotional, right? A lot of people, creatives who are writing, who are designing, they're looking for an emotional connection with their audience. So I wanted to take you through kind of a brief demo of the platform. So yes, it's an all-in-one platform for artsy people to manage their professional brand in the arts, entertainment, and creative industry. So this was the problem. Outdated job portals have limited functionality, all very fragmented in terms of what functionality and what purpose they're going to serve for that industry. There was a lack of a unified platform for actual career management. And then there were too narrowly focused. So you've got what we would consider our competitors, Backstage, which is geared more towards actors. Some writers, directors, they're trying to build upon that. You've got Breakdown Services, which is a lot of tech and crew. And so it was very much geared towards what category do you fall into. But what we find in this industry is that most are multi-creatives. You've got an actor who also writes, who also directs, who's also producing independent works. So they don't really fall into the category of let me apply for a job. Let me put in for a casting call or audition for things, because I'm more than that. We have an actual user who is a sound designer, a sound guy, big, he works with big celebrities, big A-listers, and that's his day job. And he's like, but you know what, Rachel? He goes, I want to be an illustrator. I want a storyboard. How can I put the full scope of who I am, my talents, what I want to do, how do I put that out there? So that's what ArtCee is for. And so I love the idea of the sticky notes. One, it's outdated. Two, it's obviously very fragmented. So here's the solution, a single user-driven platform. It's a portfolio manager where, as an artist, creative, you can upload your entire portfolio for the same price. We do have a free version, but for the upgraded one, it allows you additional functionality. This is part of the free version, unlimited. That's images. Think about if you're an artist, if you're an illustrator, headshots for actors, promoting events or film festivals, those sort of things. Upload all of that. Audio, if you're a musician, video, right? So all of that. Opportunity Finder, of course, that is the basic functionality of these talent marketplaces, which is job board functionality. So we do have that. Resume Generator, that's one of the specific new features that we offer that does not exist. You go in, you create your profile, and it automatically generates a templated resume, but it's all very consistent. When you apply to an opportunity on the job board, it automatically connects the company to your ArtCee profile and your ArtCee resume. So you don't have to create another resume. And again, for a lot of artists and creatives, that's the last thing they want to have to do is put together a resume. And then Community Builder, right? A big part of what we were finding in the industry is when you're a creative or an artist, a filmmaker, a writer, a singer, you tend to work with the same people. You develop your craft and you can hone in on your craft, but how do you develop new skills? How do you expand that network and now do something outside of the genre that you're familiar with? So that's a big piece of what we try to offer. So these are ideal users, and they're actual users on the platform. We have one that's local, arts community leader. She's a video editor and an artist, again, multi-creatives. Film producer, writer, director, best-selling author, Broadway sound engineer, and we interviewed him on our platform, and I thought we were going to talk about all the latest Broadway productions he was working on. Instead, he took us on a tour of his house because he's a photographer. And he was like, this is what I'm most proud of. He also did get to all of the equipment. He was like, oh, when I do sound, this is what I have to take with me. But really his passion was in photography. So that was really exciting for us. Actor, SAG-AFTRA. animation film producer, digital artist, and a news broadcast director. That gentleman was with us since the very beginning. And that one was really exciting because he had developed an animated feature film, and then later on was doing some work for an animated series with DreamWorks. And we met, and he was like, Rachel, I love the platform. I want you to know that most of the people that I work with, digital artists and such, aren't here in the US. They're all in Mexico. We have the big animation film festival over there. We have nothing. All the competitors you talk about, they're all US based. So when are you ready? Because I'd love to get all my people on that platform. So we see a lot of growth opportunities for our product. So we're going to go into the platform a little bit. This is the landing page, again, all-in-one platform for artsy professionals, manage their brand, showcase their portfolio, find gigs, and fund their creative projects. That's a new piece that we're working on now. A lot of these independent production companies, just like small business owners, right? Just like new tech startups looking for funding. We don't have a lot of angel investors. We don't have a lot of financial institutions that want to back these sort of projects. So what we find is it becomes that real organic crowdfunding, GoFundMe. We have this, Shakespeare workshop or Shakespeare festival we're trying to put on. Somebody reached out to me. They did their first year opera workshop in Central Park, and they are filming it as kind of not a documentary, but kind of the journey into developing an opera, right? And he's like, but we need funding. How do we do that? So we are in the process of, when we started developing the whole crowdfunding feature, to allow normal people or private wealth people to come in and say, you know what, I want to support the arts. Where can I go to see who is doing what projects or what companies align with what I'm trying to do and put in my portfolio? And so we are developing that right now, so super, super excited about it. Let's go over to the search feature. Yeah. So when you do, this is the database. So if you go search and you search people, this is just an example of the people, of some of our users. We have one that's in radio broadcast, content producer, an illustrator, a short filmmaker, Nicole Unger. She's local here in Las Vegas. She does a ton of shows. So she's really exciting to follow. And so you'll kind of see what that looks like, right? So it's in that same vein of how do you search and find people like on LinkedIn if you wanted to connect with people in your industry. Of course, we're going to try to make it more visual and appealing to that industry. So let's go to Rod. Yeah. So it should be ArtCee profile. That one, yeah. So here's one. Just happens to be my brother. Had to pull him up. But he's a professional opera singer, and he was a resident director for Roanoke Opera Company in Virginia. And he's a perfect example because he's like, I do all of these things, but I have no desire to go on LinkedIn. I don't need a resume because I've already been doing this for a lot of years, right? But I still want to get my work out there. I still want to get my stuff out there and be seen. I have representation, but blah, blah, blah. And so he created a profile and he uploaded some of his work. And then that's the bio, vision. And then so that is part of the free platform. So if you wanted to go in and search, keyword search, actor, opera, those people would pop up. Let's go over to the part with the resume. Oh no, I think we already showed that one. So let's do the jobs before that. And so you can also search jobs. We actually, the beauty of the platform is we can integrate, right? We integrate with other platforms so that we don't have to develop everything ourselves. So we did just include a jobs integration piece to our platform. It was live, and for some reason it's not showing up, but there's obviously also the organic jobs, so people that we reach out to, part of our marketing strategy, going out to social media, reaching out to all of the different Facebook groups, and on Instagram, those are that are already plugged into that industry, into that market. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they're already posting looking for a cinematographer, looking for new material for our upcoming film festival. But again, it's very fragmented. So we're reaching out to them now and many have said, yes, we love the platform. The response has really been great. And we're trying to fill up the job boards piece of it so that it's easier for people to go in and apply and just send their ArtCee profile and resume over. So,
Can I add something?
yeah.
So, hi everyone. My name is Sunshine, as Rachel mentioned. Yes, that is my real name for anyone. My parents are not Indies. I follow a FAQ question. But I just wanted to speak to a little bit about this piece as somebody who personally is also in ArtCee's target audience and market. I'm also a multi-hyphenate business owner, entrepreneur, also marketer, but then also like on-camera host, actor, all the multi-hyphenate things, right? And I love being a part of, although I have like my business that I run full time and then ArtCee and everything that I do, I love being a part of productions and kind of one-off projects whenever they come to town. But something that, especially as a woman, you have to be mindful of, or be extra cautious with, is who you're dealing with on the other side of these projects, because really you're dealing with strangers, right? And so there's that aspect of personal safety. And something that I really love that we included in ArtCee's platform is the ability for companies to also have a portfolio. So as an individual, I could offer, I could show my full case, I could showcase my full range of services, but I can also offer my own services. And then I can look at a company's portfolio and they can have their own portfolio as well, so that way, as someone who might be potentially working with you, I can also see what they're about and what projects they have done, see basically like if they're legit or if they just, made this up, if they have experience in the industry and if it's something that I personally want to align with. And I think my favorite thing, or one of my favorite things, is that you can contact and communicate with that production company without having to leave the platform. I don't have to give them my personal email or cell phone number, at least in the first exchange. And there's a function where you can actually do video calls from within the platform. So, we're not having to jump on, like, I'm not jumping like on Omegle or something. It doesn't feel like that. Oh my gosh, but yeah, so I just wanted to speak to that aspect of it, is the being able, when we say all-in-one platform for artists, creatives, even businesses, to an industry to manage and expand their creative careers. I just wanted to add that bit in as somebody who, like I said, is part of the target market.
I love that. Thank you so much, Sunshine. Yeah, and one really cool thing also is, I don't know how many of you in your industry or line of work join Facebook groups, and if you've had any success with making connections and such. In the arts and entertainment industry, as I was mentioning earlier, they do post a lot of jobs and opportunities, and if you continue to scroll, many of those, they will say this is a scam, right? Don't reach out to them. We are doing some work with SAG-AFTRA and then with the Nevada Film Commission, Film Council, and they're also saying, you know what, we need to alert our people to make sure that they're only reaching out to and applying to legit jobs. So that is something that we think that we'll be able to help with in using this platform. So very exciting. So let's go on to the checklist. So I did want to kind of show you, because there is a lot of talk about, who currently exists, what does that competition look like? And so we put together this really simple graph, and it just, or table, and it just shows what their pricing is, how many people, members, subscribers, users they have on their platforms. And so we view this obviously as our potential market capture, right? And of course it goes beyond this, like how do you measure a creative, or how do you measure an actor unless they're on IMDb, unless they have their own, websites or whatever. There are a lot of emerging artists or people who, again, are multi-creatives that don't fit in one category, and it's hard to capture all of that. And then you think about, all of the students, people in film school, how do you capture all of that? So we try to just do the very basic in terms of what their numbers look like and what the cost on their platforms are. So LinkedIn, we know that I think there's still a free platform for that, but as a recruiter to have full access posting jobs, it costs us a fortune. You're paying per job slot. Ours is $12 a month, which gives you ability to engage, right? So you can already upload your full portfolio. As a company, you can upload your full portfolio, post your jobs, but as soon as you want to start engaging, message each other, video call, apply, then it's $12 a month. And other platforms also charge per upload, or they limit 3 headshots. What can you do with 3 headshots? And they limit it to those sort of things. So it's unlimited. And then you can see the different types of extra functionality that we offer. Another really cool thing for companies when they post their jobs, it allows them to project manage their jobs. So how do they, if they're working on a film, how do they get an idea who could be cast, who could be part of their production team? Oftentimes when you're working on a project, you're also planning for another project. Which one is getting funding first? And that's usually the one that you move forward with. So how do you pipeline those people? Well, it's really simple on the platform. You like them and you pipeline them and you keep them in your activity. And if you're like, I like the work that this person is doing, but I don't really have anything that they're a fit for, you can always share that information with your colleagues or pipeline them, keep them in mind for your other projects. And so let's go to community. Let's do featured guests. So another really cool thing that is on the platform but isn't really on the marketplace side of it, and it's ArtCee's commitment to supporting our community. And I think at the heart of everything, that's really what it's about, right? So that comes from me from a very, very young age. My parents, building their medical clinics and all, but at the end of the day, no matter how tired they were, they rehearsed. They went to their vocal lessons. They collaborated and met with their teams. And so it really was about supporting the community and really building that community. So our commitment for that is we feature our actual users and we do video interviews with them. We get to learn what inspired them, how they got to be where they're at, types of projects they're working on. And then tonight, if you guys are around, we'll go ahead and highlight some people. That one she just showed, Rich Perez. He is the radio broadcaster for the NFL Raiders. And so he did an interview with us. We had Scott Jackson, she showed earlier, who is a classical violinist and was part of Adele's group of musicians for her live performances. Gaia Speaks, we mentioned her earlier. She's founder of a local group called Vegas Creative Network, but she's also a video editor and a video producer. So again, a lot of multi-talents. If you're around tonight, we're actually hosting an industry mixer night back at Taverna, up at the rooftop bar. So you guys are all welcome. Love for you all to come. We already have about 115 RSVPs, so we're expecting a really great turnout. Very exciting is just from what we do and then in really trying to engage the community, the response has been incredible. Not only do they want to come and be and support and see how it could benefit them, but we have entertainers coming from the Strip who will be singing and performing. We have some guests that we'll be featuring and interviewing, including the SAG-AFTRA Nevada State President, She'll be coming. We have a special effects artist who worked on the latest film, Fly Me to the Moon. He's going to be coming and speaking. So it's really very, very exciting that the community recognizes kind of the passion behind this, and they see the gap that we're trying to fill. They want to be able to support it, and they want to be able to start with Las Vegas. It's like, let's start with Vegas. We can do LA, we can do New York, we can do other countries as well, but hey, let's start at home. So that's it for my presentation. Anybody have any questions? Woo! Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yes.
So, do you have a section as far as like the profile creation where somebody can like upload their reel or a demo of like movies that they've been in and like audio for voice actors?
Yes, absolutely. So we'll go to the yeah, go to rods and then go to just right there. So here, this is my portfolio. When you register, you're immediately taken here. You upload your headshot. You can put all of your socials. So this is really for social media management as well. You don't have to be like, hey, check out my website. Oh, and look me up over here on my social handles, right? They can find you here. They can click on it, and then you're and then immediately taken to those sites. This is where you would upload your portfolio. And this is, it could be images, it can be video reels, audio. Yes?
Yeah, I might be confused about your monetization, like your plans. There's a free profile and a paid profile, or is it the job seekers that are paying, or the job
So
givers?
So that's a great question. It's a freemium model, right? So there's the free version, which says you get to control your profile, your portfolio, your social media, all of that, and you're still searchable. People can still find you. But the second somebody wants to message you, as soon as you want to start applying to jobs, those sort of things, then it's $12 a month. As a company, kind of the same thing. So you can upload all the projects you've worked on, but as soon as you want to post jobs, your casting calls, and have the platform manage that process for you or help you to manage it, then it's $12 a month. And it's unlimited. And so that's one of the things with the multi-creatives, right? Oftentimes you're the actor, writer, director, and you also have a production company. So it gives them access to all of it. Yes?
I know you called it a feature, but I really think that letting people upload unlimited amounts of whatever on a free account is really dangerous. I mean, you're gonna, for one, it's kind of like, you know, the 13-year-old hacker is gonna see if they can take your website down, but it's gonna turn into people uploading illegal images and things like that. So I do think that you should have some kind of free account, even if you know, you should at least, at a minimum, like validate a phone number, like not even email validation is not enough, because people can essentially create unlimited email addresses too.
You know, and that's a great point. So thank you so much for bringing that up. And I have to say, you know, as startup companies, right, we're always met with these challenges, like what features and value do you want to give away for free to bring them in, and then what are all of these other things that you should have in place, but you don't want to stop the momentum, you don't want to have people hesitate to register. So that's actually one of the big things that we're discussing. This was kind of what we landed on, but as we continue to grow, as we continue to roll this out and market it to the public, that's definitely an area we'll look at. So thank you for that. Yes?
If an artist wanted to, say, release, whether it was a song or whatever kind of creative project, could this facilitate them actually doing an official release of a song or a film or a short or something like that? So
that's a great question. So how much of your proprietary stuff do you want to put out there? How much do you actually want to share? Do I want to share a teaser and a trailer, or do I want to share my whole short film? Right? Do I want to share audio clips to give the listener and the other users a chance to get my vibe and my style? Or do I really want to release that? There are other platforms out there that we've thought about possibly integrating with, so that they could carry their own library and then monetize it. But again, just tied to our platform so that they don't have to go completely off-site. So I think those are some things to think about, but definitely it's you even as a business owner, or if you're a tech developer and you have a concept in mind, how much of that do you actually want to share? Yes?
Yeah, so I actually have a bunch of questions now, but some of that I can hold for later.
Okay.
The first one is, are you able to do webinars? Like you were mentioning that you have like the audio video direct messaging thing.
Mm-hmm.
So along those lines, my first question was, are you able to broadcast to more than one person at a time, number one? Number two, do you have a way to guarantee the privacy of those conversations, or can they be broken into by anyone with like admin access on the platform?
So that's a great question. What we do when we, so first when it comes to our featured guests, they all sign waivers and we say it's only for the purpose of ArtCee and to promote the platform and then to promote them as well. When it comes to the users themselves, they know that's part of the policy as well that we have in place, and that's whatever they upload. We have some security features and we'll get there so that we can really I think probably the next thing we need is a true IT person or CTO to come in and help us with those security issues and make sure that we have that in place. But can it be broken into? I think for the most part, people who are sharing in that industry are already sharing.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant real-time conversations.
Oh, for webinars, for real conversations?
No, at this moment, we're technically kind of in our phase one, if you want to phase out what stage we're at with our platform. But to answer that question short, webinars, no, we don't have that capability as of yet. That is definitely something that we want to look into for future phases, because it is very common practice in the industry for industry experts to host webinars and for that to generate like their leads that way.
So what we have in place now, what we have in place now is there's another section for business services. So if you were offering workshops, if you were offering acting classes, writing classes, you can go and promote it in the directory and users can book from there, but as of now, it would be taking you off-site someplace else to wherever you're hosting your webinar. Yes?
I'm thinking, is there a feature that handles like the payment for like rituals? Kind of like Upwork does. Let's say you want to go and hire 3 actors for a movie or something like that, right? You'd be like, hey, can you post like a payment on there, and then your platform handles that payment as the system, or do you just make the contacts and then you assume the artists and the hiring managers or whatever are supposed to like make those contracts outside of your platform?
So both. Right now, we haven't expanded on that feature, and it becomes one of those things. It's like, how much do you want to offer? How much, and especially still in the early stages, right? How much can we actually, based on our resources, cover at this stage? So we're kind of doing them in phases and seeing what does our audience, our target audience, what are they really needing and wanting? So when you do post a job, you can post it for multiple people to apply. And if we were to continue to build it out, we have it at very early stages right now, all of that payment functionality can happen within the platform. And right now, it's just all limited in terms of access. If you want to be, as the production company, if you want to be able to utilize a platform, manage it with all these other features, it's that basic price. Once we enter the other area, then we just have to kind of figure out what that's actually going to look like. But yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Some other platforms restrict how many third-party links you could put, like your profiles and things, or even the use of an email and a chat function. And it is designed to keep the interaction and transaction through your platform. Have you thought about that dynamic?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's a great question too, because we're kind of met with, we don't really want to direct them off site, right? We want to keep them on the platform. But we also, and that's kind of typical, I want to say, with what currently exists. So with technology being less expensive for us, can we then just turn around and offer more functionality to our users and keep it at a low cost? So do we just say, You know, you as an actor, writer, director, you have your own website, you're on social media. Do we really need to control that for you, how much somebody else can see of your work? Really, at the end of the day, we want you to be able to control it. Oh, go ahead.
I believe the greater concern is, so I've built a lot of two-sided marketplaces and whatnot. There's always the rub of, so great, I decide I'm going to lean into my charisma, make a profile, I put my links there, someone sees me, they like me, and they message me on LinkedIn and you never get a dime. The platform allowing those direct social links, it's not about offering that as a feature, it's about being able to have them bypass you on revenue.
And I get that, but in order for them to do that, they still have to subscribe. So they have to do the $12 a month. You know, when we look at the numbers in the industry, so if they're paying for Backstage for the basic job board functionality, talent, you know, marketplace functionality piece, they're paying $25 a month. What are production companies paying per post? Just like LinkedIn costs a fortune. Backstage, industry specific, is still $25 a post. Can we offer that at less and not worry about capturing every, you know, monetizing every feature? I don't think we need to do that, and I think the industry is really craving for something like this. You know, we look at it and we say, gosh, if we get to 5,000, 10,000 users, because we're still very early, but if we get to 5,000, 10,000 users, what about Guitar Center? What about Yamaha? What about these potential advertisers? So the subscription SaaS-based model exists, it makes sense, but in the same sense, this is a brand new, you know, revolutionary thing for the industry. Would potential advertisers just like being able to advertise a product to our customer base? Yes. Sorry with the lights.
This is really impressive for the stage that you're at, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you talk about how you built? Do you have a lot of features that are coming together in a very new configuration? Did you use a custom website builder or somebody who's a specialist? How did it all?
A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. You know, we started with, gosh, do we want to be like LinkedIn and develop everything, you know, own all the hard code ourselves? And with the beauty of technology, we're just able to use multiple platforms and integrate them and then customize them from there. Yes?
What was the last feature you cut from the platform?
The last feature?
The last feature you cut from the platform.
What's the last feature we cut?
Cut.
No,
What?
like removed. Like presumably,
Yeah,
over the course of, you know, you release, let's imagine over the course of the company, you release
Sure.
100 features. Does the product have 100 features in the end, or does it have a limited number, probably a less number than that?
I think the piece that we started to build out and then took a step back on was the business services. We thought, as a writer, director, I want to offer classes and workshops, but then does that, you know, it just felt like we were building a whole other separate platform. So we thought, let's simplify that for them and just give them these main features where people can book directly, right? But they don't need to do a whole lot of stuff on the platform. They don't need to advertise all their workshops and do it that way. So I think we kind of scaled back on that, and that was probably the biggest piece. And really, other than that, it's really been, what are our resources? Which features do we really believe in that the industry is asking for, and what do we need to do to build that out? And so that, just by nature of limited resources, ends up being done in phases. So we haven't cut anything else out. Yes?
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, how, I know you had a slide up that said you had a goal of 20,000 users for 2024, right? How are you solving the chicken and egg problem of all the social media platforms where both sides kind of need each other before you hit critical mass?
Yeah.
Did 20,000 just come out of the air, or was that based on operating expenses, or was that like a critical mass that you realized was sort of an organic market capacity that will allow for continued growth and value?
No, you know, when we look at the industry, when we look at the other competitive platforms like Backstage, they have, how many members was that? Like 200,000, I wanted to say. When we look at like SAG-AFTRA Union, they have 200,000 members. When we look at, you know, so their platforms are already accommodating those. So we thought, you know, as as companies and products and everything goes viral, and all of a sudden they've got these tens of thousands of followers and customers, you know, I know engagement has gone down for social media. I know social media for our industry is mixing professional with personal. So we thought, you know, let's start with a number that feels realistic. And I think that felt realistic to us. It still feels like a reach because we're still early, but we know with the growth and with the demand for the industry, I think we can get there. And so we put that there as our goal to see if it's something we can reach.
Do you have an actual strategy, though, to get both sides to commit before the other is there? I mean, that's the classic.
Sure.
Problem of social media.
So, like at the event tonight that I was mentioning, I had reached out to the SAG-AFTRA Nevada state president, right? And so they have so many members, but their reach is great because everybody wants to know how to be part of SAG-AFTRA. So they love the platform, and they're like, Rachel, let's collaborate. Let's figure out how to use this and roll it out to the industry. The Film Council as well. They're like, we've got 6,000 people on our Facebook page, just that alone. And they're like, give us everything that you're working on, give us your events, give us all your highlights, and we'll spread it out to our people too. So I think that's part of the thing, just the organic nature of the industry itself, because it doesn't exist, right? I think it's how do we get those commitments? I think it's just continuing doing what we're doing by creating those collaborative and strategic partnerships while showing our commitment to the community. So, and we think, I mean, it's hard to put it in stone because it doesn't exist in the industry. And so we're really looking at, you know, demand generation, lead conversion,
I mean,
those
it
sort
kind
of
of
things.
feels like people are going to go, okay, well, once you've got 10,000 people, then I'll actually purchase. And
Well,
until then, I'll have a
sure. And you know, that's kind of the story for LinkedIn. When it first started as a recruiter, 2005, 2006, I know I'm dating myself, but there were, Rachel, can you do an endorsement for us as a recruiter? Tell us that we're a tool, we're not the competition for what you guys are doing. But what is it today? I know, granted, it's many, many years later, but it grew to be an industry standard. Now it's the gold standard. They may not be seeing as much growth in the US, but they're seeing tons of growth in foreign markets. So we think we'll get there. And we think that 20,000 mark is still a good reachable mark for us.
Can I add to that?
Uh-huh.
So one thing also about that chicken and egg, I think just for all business owners, right, especially when it comes to lead conversion and, you know, actually, just converting leads in general to become actual users.
No, a
on
lot of
your product,
businesses
right?
offer direct value to the client, right? In this case, you're offering value from one client to the other with you in the middle.
Right.
So not all businesses have this problem.
Well, a lot of them. So you're right, not all, but something with us being just a very early startup with nobody being full-time in this as well. Rachel works for the SBGC as we mentioned earlier, is just within our direct networks. We see us shooting for that goal, knowing that it's kind of like a shoot for the moon and you might land among the stars sort of strategy, right? Because just within our direct networks, just in Vegas, Rachel's networks in the industry, she's getting the validation from her strategic partners that they have their own networks of X amount of people, and they're saying, when you're ready, or when you're ready for us to come on, we will bring all our people on. So that was kind of just based off of that, just even the few people that she said that they have a couple thousand people, if that helps answer that a little bit more.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And then also that animation producer that I mentioned about that has all of his digital artists in Mexico. He's like, I have 17,000 people in my database. I need to put them someplace. And so those are just individuals that don't view us as competition that we need to convert people. They're viewing this as a tool that's going to be valuable for their industry, that's going to allow their people, their talent, their production staff, give them better access, easier access to more opportunities. So I think a lot of that is going to fall under marketing. We're kind of at that stage. That's part of the strategy that we've been focusing on, not just the consistency in our brand and our tone and our vibe and all of that stuff, but really what are we communicating to our audience? What are we, are we hitting their pain points? A lot of these artists and creatives are, vulnerable in nature. They're always exposed, so we have to be able to hit them in those emotional areas. And I think with those strategies, I think they're smart strategies, and I think it's just a matter of time. And then, just like with any startup, early stage, you test it and see how the market reacts to it. If they say they want to see more of something else, then you pivot and you respond to that.
Yeah, we're up on time.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it.
If you are interested in helping run demo time, as we do need additional organizers to help keep this going, please feel free to reach out to Josh or me, Josh, and my card's up front. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody that came.